Ekko, the boy who shattered time. Inna and Wyeth had a child. The child's name was Ekko. Ekko was smart. No, in fact, Ekko was a genius. First thing he did was make little contraptions before he could even crawl. Impressive, isn't it? His parents knew they had a little genius on their hands, and so they worked tirelessly to make his tomorrows better than their todays. And though they were scraping out a living in Zaun, they wanted nothing more than to ship him upward to Piltover, that golden city with golden opportunities and also just straight-up gold. Inna and Wyeth had it rough. As factory workers in the depths of Zaun, the daily huffing of all those chemical byproducts took years off their lives. All the while, both Zaunite and Piltovan fat cats sat there, exploiting the profits gained off the teary sweat and blood they sacrificed. But if they could pave a path for Ekko that ended Piltover bound, then they reckoned their struggles would be justified. Ekko didn't hold on to these same notions. He saw Zaun in a whole different light. It's true Zaun is stinky. It's sketchy, it's got some of the lowest rated property values in the whole of Runeterra, but it's got an atmosphere like no other. The people of Zaun are some of the most ingenious people anywheres. They're ridiculously inventive and resourceful. They know how to adapt. They do it every day. The heart of the Zaun people is one that doesn't give up, no matter how glum the world looks at any given moment. And that very essence, alongside factory runoff chemicals, courses through Ekko's veins. Fortunately for young Ekko, there were plenty of other young'uns who felt the same. Schooling is more of a soft science in Zaun, none of that sitting down in a classroom book learning that you get with a typical education. All number of parentless orphany kids, parented non-orphany kids, and then all the other kids that make up that category. Those lost children of Zaun learned all the learning that they needed on the mean streets, running around absorbing in all that inventive Zaun culture. A once local laboratory, now only just a pile of recently knocked down building chunks, was the perfect place for young Ekko to be sifting through. And that's where he laid eyes on it. A hextech crystal, blue and green and shiny and soaked in magic it was. This wasn't a small find, especially to a kiddo from Zaun. All he'd ever heard was stories about it, and to actually have found it. Whew, now that was something. It wasn't a complete piece, though. It must have been busted up when the building was taken down. He did his best to see if he could find more pieces of it, but had to take off. Some enforcers were afoot, no doubt on the hunt for what he had found. Ekko started tinkering with that crystal. How was he going to put that thing to use if he didn't learn how it worked? Then it blew up. It wasn't on purpose or anything. The kid wasn't a trained scientist, but that hextech dust, it glittered in the light just so. He could see that he had messed with the temporal continuum. That means that he had goofed with that crystal in just the wrong way, and now he could see alternate realities, including different versions of himself. One would say echoes of himself. Echoes of Ekko. Don't think too much about it. No sense in sending your brain into somersaults over all that. Just trust that Ekko had it covered. The Echoes had it covered. They all threw in together to patch up whatever ununderstandable anomaly had been ripped in space-time. Then he was able to jam-pack all that crystal dust/sand/magic into a hextechy gadget, one that could ever so slightly tweak the flow of time. Fast forward to later, Ekko and his buddies were palling around. There was this big old clock tower known locally as Old Hungry. His friends all had the endlessly wise idea of multiple dog daring each other to climb that rickety death trap. So up they went, the whole lot of 'em scaling upward. Along the way, they spritzed a nice graffiti portrait or two of some hoity-toity Piltover fat cats on the side of Old Hungry. They had almost gotten to the tippity top when one of those lost children lost their grip and fell, tumbling down to begin a new life as a pancake at the bottom. But Ekko had that time-altering contraption tucked away in a pocket. He activated it mere moments before his buddy went splat. Reality warped around, shifting his friend back to up on high. bringing the sequence of events to right back before anyone slipped off. And then his pal reached for the same wrong spot again and fell off again. Ekko did his darndest to save his friend that time, but instead of looking like he was going to plummet to his death, it looked like his buddy-o was going to get mashed by some clock tower gears. So Ekko hit that time rewind button again. He wasn't about to let his pal up and die if he could help it. And after a few more tries of staving off his friend's best attempts at seeking new and creative ways to meet his maker, Ekko finally managed to save him. To anyone else that wasn't Ekko, it seems like he had saved What's-His-Face with a lightning-y quickness, and Ekko let it slip that he had a secret crystal that gave him the powers to fiddle with time. He told those lost kids that he'd like to keep what they'd been told on the down low. But they saw it as an opportunity to uncork a whole new bottle of recklessness. Any middling sense of self-preservation that had been dinging around in their adolescent brains was flushed away. Danger, smanger. If they needed saving, well then Ekko would save them. That's how Ekko really learned the outs and the ins of the zero drive. That's the name he gave his little invention there. Man, were those kiddos accident-prone. But hey, he got really, really good at saving them from their bad decisions. He'd get tuckered out after a while, but for the most part, Ekko could wind time as much as he wanted. These kinds of activities, continuing finagling and time-work mischief, don't really fly under the radar. Heads of ne'er-do-well Zonites down below and Piltovan yuckity-yucks up above were turned, aiming to exploit Ekko's skill set. This didn't bother Time Boy, as he turned any seedy, albeit lucrative, offers away. Ekko doesn't much care about unchecked power and prestige. He's got a more homegrown picture in his head, putting his lot in with Zon, to elevate it so it can compete. Nay, surpass the self-important glitz of Piltover. He wants to show him that Zon's got the grit, gumption, and pure concentrated willpower to rise up. He doesn't know quite where to start, but I say that is a dream worth waking up to chase. Besides, he's still a kid, plenty of time to figure all that out. And time he's got plenty of. On account of his time invention thing. The thing called again, his zero drive.